We're in the Mishna on Daf Chavav Amud Aleph, the Bavli Maseches Gittin. Hakosev Toifse Gittin, somebody who's writing the text of the get. The soifer, he's a soifer, says Rashi. He gets paid, and he wants that he's going to be busy. Sometimes he'll be busy, so he wants to make sure that he'll be ready with a bunch of status that are already completed. He always has to leave the space for the name of for the place of the man, the place of the woman, the place for the woman, and the place where you write the time. Can't say I'm going to write the whole get, including the names, so that if they need it, they'll have it right away. You can't do that. Starting milva, if you have a document of debt, if you hear, let's say you hear that there's a person running after his friend to borrow money, to lend money. You can't say, I'm going to write it and I'll leave only the time. You have to leave the malve, the loive, and the money, even though it's not the same as a get, where it says because of lo lishma. There's no din that it has to be the shma by a milva. Nevertheless, the chacham made exero that just like when it comes to a get, you have to have the Torah which is left empty because of the shma. So too when it comes to a star milva. Starting mekach, it's a bill of sale. The place of the buyer, the seller, the money, the field, and the time. Yehuda's guys are the Taifas Atu Tairif. Yehuda says it's all possible. Lazar says they're all kosher, besides for Gittin Noshim. Rabbi Lazar's moida that you have to leave these Mekaimis. But when it comes to Gittin Noshim, he says even if you left the Mekaim, you can't have the Taifas because it says because of law.
So the halacha is what? At the end, because it seems so practical that you have the text of the get and you just fill in, just like when it comes to kasuba, you have the text that's there. And maybe I'm wrong, but isn't kasuba you buy the text and they just fill in the pieces?
Oh, the ksuba, yeah. Ksuba is not the get.
But so the get you have to write it fresh each time?
That's what it seems like.
That seems to say.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's so many Gittin that if they were Rabbanim, they had the text ready.
Oh, to have it ready. Well, you want to get to be the last resort. You don't have
Just have it ready.
You don't want to have it ready.
You could actually, when you have the kasuba, when they're getting married, give them the text of the get. So.
Oh, when you have the ksuba, you also have the get?
You give them the text of the get so they're ready to go. Just a joke.
Okay. Besides for the Mekayim Aish, Mekayim Aisha, Mekayim Azman, you also have to leave the line, you're mutter to everybody.
But it's interesting, Rabbi Yehuda, he's the one who said that the whole thing is puzzle, and now he has to say, but you also have to leave.
No, this is Rabbi Yehuda.
They're different.
The Mishnah, it's a Rabbi Yehuda, the Tana, and here we're talking about the Almeida. But Rabbi Lazar here, our Mishnah's opinion of Rabbi Lazar, the Mesira Karti, he holds it's Edim Mesira. So because of law, is not talking about Chasimas Eidim. Chasimas Eidim is Tikkun Oilam, so that you'll have Eidim even if they travel overseas. Because of law, is talking about the Ksivas Aget. We in Ksiva Lishma, it has to be written Lishmas. That's what our Mishnah says. You have to leave all these details, the details which are the Lishma details. Utzricha. We're going to have to say, so there's different Mishnahs. There's different Mishnahs. In Kaisun ala Mechuber, you're not allowed to write on what's connected to the ground, to a get that's connected. Everybody's kosher to write the get. And our Mishnah, Toifse Gittin, Shmuel said, all these Mishnahs are the opinion of Rabbi Lazar, who says Edim is City card. If you're going to say the first case is, so then you would say, by you the Rabbi Lazar, says in Kaisim B'chuber, but it says if you wrote on the B'chuber B'karka kosher. So we tied shlois. You're not allowed to write the toifus from B'chuber B'karka, But if you wrote the Toifus, it's okay. Aval Seifa. But the Seifa, which is a kol kshed and lichtev, is get the ktanish in kiyam get the b'chaisma. If the Mishnah says the kiyam get is b'chaisma, let us say it's Rav Meir or Meir dichsim karti. That's why we have to say that we're talking about that you're mishar the mekayim toidef, that you left out the toidef. That's the pshat. Rashi explains the Sefer where it says Ein Kiyam Aget Ela B'Chaisma. It's not telling you that the Chedesh Reit of a Katan could write the Torah because they're not able to do Lishma. I mean, we had different interpretations in the Gemara, but it's referring to the din of a woman is allowed to write her get, and the man is allowed to write his shover, because the Kiyam Aget is Mimsirase V'Lei B'Chasimase. This that we're mentioning Chasimas is because the fact is even Rav Elazar will be made that you sign the get, that you sign the get. The Sefer Rav Elazar have a Reisha, Lav Rav Elazar, Tzricha. And that we see in the end of the Mishna, Rav Elazar Machshir B'Chulam Chutz Gittin Hashim. So maybe it's not the Reisha. And maybe Kamash Mulan that the Reisha is Rav Elazar, it's today Tanaya Liba de Rav Elazar. There's two Tanaim according to Rav Elazar. Even though we mentioned Rav Elazar's name in the Sefer, it's also Rav Elazar in the Reisha. Oh, sorry, we just read that. Sorry, we're by the two dots. So we in the Mishnah we said you have to leave all these by the Shtar Mekach, the Shtar Milva, the Gittin Oshim, Mipnei Takana. What does that mean? Mipnei Takana. My Takana, I'm Rav Yonasan, Mipnei Takana Sefer. They allowed the Sefer to write the Toifus to allow him to earn more money, to be ready, so that during busy times they'll have the documents ready. Rabbi Elazar don't read the Mesida Karti. So in a Rabbi Elazar holds her the Mesida Karti. Really, they shouldn't have allowed Toifus because of Xeda. Xeda Toifus at two Toif. And because of to allow the Seifrim to make normal living, the Chum allowed. Rabbi Yehuda place of Chulin, Rabbi Yehuda says they're all puzzle. Goes for Teifus at two Toif. Goes for Shtaris at two Gittin. He has Xero that even the Teifus you're not allowed to write, but just like you're not allowed to write the Toif, and you're not allowed to write the Shtar, just like you're not allowed to write the Get. Rabbi Elazar Machshir B'Chulin Chutz Gittin Oshim. Rabbi Elazar says they're all kosher except for Gittin Oshim. Teifus at two Toif, Gazar, Shtaris at two Gittin loy Gazar. Rabbi Elazar says that when it comes to Gittin Oshim, Toifus are two Toif Gazar, but Shar Shtaris are okay. You're allowed to write the Toifus. But the Toif, he agrees you're not allowed to write by Shar Shtaris. But the Toifus, you are. So the Mishnah ended off Shnemer because of Lishma. So why are we saying that Rabbi Elazar is place will be Gittin Oshim, the Toifus, the text of the Get, because of those referring to the Toif? Because of Lishma. Because it says about the Toif, because of Lishma, there's a Gazrinon on the Toifus also. In other words, it's not that we learn directly from here that the pasuk is talking about the Toifus. It says because of Lo Lishma on the Torah, and we have Xeda on the Toifus. That's how you have to explain the pasuk what the Mishna is trying to say. So Gemara asks, Kasha the Rabbi Elazar, there's a contradiction because in the ratio we said the Mishna is talking about Rabbi Elazar. And you are allowed to write Toif say Gittin. And the Sefer we say you're not. Today, Tanai of Aliba de Rabbi Elazar. There's two Tanaim according to Rabbi Elazar. Shab say Amrchiskia Mishum Ketata. Now we're going back to the question: what does it mean Mishuma Takana? You have to leave the Mekoyim. You have to leave the Mekoyim HaTeiref. So what's the Takana? Mishum Ketata. Because of the fight. What's this takana?
What height?
Oh, so he says the Mishnah is according to Rav Meir, not Rav Elazar. Rav Meir, you don't read the chesima karti. So when it says because of law, it's referring to the chesima, the signature. Really, you could write the Torah also. The Sefer could write the Torah. Because of law is not talking about the get itself. It's talking about the chesimas. The zimdin the shomalei the Sefer the koksiv. V'sovra iu komerlei. So it could happen. It could happen that she'll hear, the wife will hear the Sefer writing, and he's reading out loud, and he's writing the star with their names. Sovra iu komerlei. She's thinking that her husband told the Sefer to prepare it. She's going to fight him. It's going to cause a machlokes. So because of that, we don't want any names. We don't want the Sefer to write any names. I mean, b'chalal, it doesn't make sense to write the names, just from a business point of view. I mean, you're writing out the names. You're taking away all the, unless for you the Sefer follows who's getting divorced, and then he's preparing exactly with the names and everything. But in other words, according to Reb Shabzi, our Mishna is talking about Shitas Reb Meir. Edich Simakarti, really, you could write the Torah. It's a gzeira on the Torah as well, because we're worried that the wife will hear the Sefer writing her name, and then she'll get upset. She'll think it was her husband who did it, who told the Sefer to do such a thing. Rav Chisda Ravim Mishum Takonas Agunes. Rav Chisda says in the name of Avimi that it's Takanas Agunas. So how do you explain this? We could say that you could either say the Mishnah is Rav Meir or Rav Elazar. Say it's Rav Meir. Really, you could write the Torah. So why not? Could happen that he'll be fighting with her. He'll get angry at her. Nialo ma'agin and he's gonna find the get ready to her. He's gonna give it to her.
What is the word for ma'agin?
He'll make her an aguna. So he has this. When she's, what does it say over there? These are chained. In other words, she's not really an aguna, but it's as if he's making her an aguna, even though she's divorced. We don't want it to be too easy to divorce your wife.
Shema Yisrael to get the apron Suffolk he's going to leave it to get in there's a doubt Kogan Suffolk Karav La Suffolk Karav La. Because he's so angry, he's not careful.
Oh, that's a pshat.
So she can't marry anybody.
Because it's a suffix.
He gets so angry, he just throws it her way. He's not even careful if it's too close to him.
Who says that?
Ritva, Rashba.
Oh, the Ritva, the Rishonim. Amri Lord of Allah, really, you shouldn't even write the Teufels because of Exeda. Sometimes you could be traveling and you're not going to find a Sefer and you're going to leave her. So this is really Magan. This is easier to understand. It's not going to have a get. So therefore, he allows the Teufels because of Igun, because we want it to not to be too difficult to divorce if he needs to divorce her. Mekoim Azman. What's Mekoim Azman? Kapasik v'tani leishlam in nisuyin v'leishlam in edisin. Seems like it doesn't matter if he's divorcing her from the nisuyin or the edisin. Bishma min nisuyin makes sense according to nisuyin. Bein l'man dam mishum basachis ika, bein l'man dam mishum pede ika. Basachis, we're worried that he's going to try to protect his niece. Let's say there's this nus, and he's going to make the get earlier, like we said this already. And he's going to make the get earlier to allow her to escape punishment. So we have a problem.
He's marrying the Basachesa. He's marrying, I guess you were allowed
And
to.
that she has an affair, that he
So-
loves her because she's his family.
Family.
So he tries to protect her. So that's why you have to have Zman. You can't write the Zman before. You can't have early. Or if it's because of Paytas, we're worried about the Nichsim Maluk, that the husband's going to try to hold on, or he has the rights later or earlier. So it makes sense. But if you're talking about Edison, that he's going to protect her. If the whole reason why you have to have Zman is because Zman Kosher is because of Paytas, the husband doesn't have the right to eat her Paytas. He only eats the Paytas from the Nisuyin.
But even in the Arusa,
It's in return for him to be chayv to redeem.
If either during the Arusa or before the Arusa, if it's before the Arusa, there's no get needed. So if it's only engaged, what's the?
Once you're betrothed, you have to have a get.
Yeah, but you can't write it earlier. He's writing the get when they're betrothed.
Why do you have to have Zman Kosher? That's the question of the Gemara. If it's from Edison.
From Erison, there's no problem with Zman Kosher. It's only Erison.
But you have to have Zman. Our Mishna doesn't differentiate.
If it's from the Suyan, there's a difference. The difference in the punishment she's going to get. But if it's from Erison, if he writes it a day early, a day later, it's during Erison.
Which Penuya has the same. Penuya doesn't have a death penalty if she has an affair.
No, there's no get needed if she's still a Penuya.
Right.
He just splits with her.
So what if she's betrothed, she has an affair, and he's trying to protect her by saying that she was already divorced. So that's why you need to have proper Zman. You can't have Zman which is Mukdam.
Got it.
The question is, what about Paytas? If the reason is to protect her Mnichse Malug, either with his rights or her rights, she doesn't have those rights b'chalal by Edison. So why is there Zman by Edison? Omar of Amram, I heard this in the name of Ula, that it's because of Takonas Vlad. I don't understand what this is. Given the Shamisa law of the Tanya, once I heard what it says in the Bryce. Kisvu get Arusosi, you should write a get for my Arusa. When I will marry her, that's when I will divorce her. In a get, it's not a get. It's considered get Yoshan. Because maybe he'll be with her when he'll marry her. And they'll say that her get came before her son. No, the reason is because we're worried that the get will be before her son was born. They'll think that he gave it to her on the day that he wrote it. So to here in our Mishnah, you have to write this, you have to leave this Mekema Zman. You can't write this Zman early because maybe you're going to write this Zman Bay Bayom, you're only going to divorce her later after the Nisuyin. And people will say that it was done, the child was born, was conceived without Kedushin and Ksuba after the Gedish. It's a Pagam la Mishpacha. So therefore we have to make sure the Zman is correct, even by Edison, just in case he delays to give her the get until after the Nisuyin.
It's not a chashat of Zeris. It's just a blemish on the mishpacha, a child out of wedlock.
Right. Omer of Zayda, Omer of Abba Barshil, Omer of Amnuna Sava, Omer of Adar Barav, Omer of Rav, Halacha Rabbi Eliezer. The halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says that you're not, in the end of our Mishnah, that you're not allowed, Rabbi Eliezer, sorry, that Toif say Gittin is also forbidden. The second opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Kori Rav Alei de Rabbi Eliezer Tuvina de Chakime. Very interesting. He called him the Mu'usher, the Tuvino de Chakime.
What does that mean?
Toiv. Oh, it's interesting that Rashi translates Mu'usher. Mu'usher means like like oisher, I think happiness. I mean, the simple explanation is it's the best of the chachamim. Baruch actually just came on. It's also brought in Ksubis. I don't remember that. The praised. Praised. I think praised is the translation. Filu b'shar shadis nami.
The best of them.
The best. Usher means best. I don't think it means best.
The wondrous.
Well, he doesn't say that. Rashi's Usher, and there's those who say
the best.
Tov, that's a simple explanation, yeah. Filu b'shar shadis nami. You're going to tell me the b'shar shadis nami that you could write the toif say shadis. Like by Gittin, you can't write the toifus, but by shar shadis you're allowed to write the toifus. The stamp of approval, the kiyam ashtar. The edim are made by Bezdin, and Bezdin writes. They stamp and they say, we say that we accepted the edim. The michtava mikame. If you have the stamp of approval of the Yonan that was written before the witnesses testified, psula. We see it looks like it's a falsehood. Here also we should say by shar shtaris it's mechzik kashikra. But let's say that Rav Nachman, Rav Nachman never here. Remember, filu motze be'ashpa chasme b'nosin la kosher. Rav Nachman said in the name that Rav Meir would say, even if you found it in the ashpa, if it was signed in the right time, then it's okay. Even the Chum are only arguing on Rav Meir because they require ksiva lishma, so you can't find it in the ashpa of b'shar shtaris loy. But by shar shtaris, there's no problem. Can't use it again. If you use it once, you can't use it again. Time with the nimchal shibude because it's forgiven. The shibud, the indebtedness, the shtar is bottle. You can't use it again. Even if it was written before the halva, it's kosher if it was written on the same day. We're not chayish li shikra. So that's the answer. Rav Nachman, we're relying on the opinion of Rav Nachman. The by shar shtoris, you're not worried about shikra. Baruch, you're there? I don't see him. In other words, this psak of Rav Papi in the name of Rav doesn't fit with what Rav Nachman said. With what Rav Nachman said, even if you found it in the ashpa and you were chosma v'nosan kosher, and the chachamim are arguing with Rav Meir when it comes to Gittin Noshim because they require ksiva lishma, that the shtar has to be written lishma. But shtar shtaris, they don't argue. As Rav Asi says in the name of Yechanan, the only reason you can't use the same shtar over again if it was written is if it was used. But if it wasn't used, there's no problem. So we won't have an issue. I don't know where Baruch went. Oh, he left. Okay, so we said the halacha is like Rabbi Elazar that toif say gittin you're not allowed to use. Chutz me gittin oshin shneber v'kasav la lishma. By the shar starters, you do have to be maniach the bekoimes halalu. No, I'm reading back in the Mishna, Rabbi Elazar's opinion. You have to be maniach the mekayma zman, mekayma malva v'loiva, and the mekayma mois, the place of the money. By Gittin oshim, you have to leave even the toifus. Ultimately, we say that as long as you do the chesima afterwards, you could write the toifus of the shar shtoris. So it's different. If you have the sharta de dayone, that's the edin, that's the bezin signing on it. That's not the same as writing the toifus of the shtar. All right. I think we're out of time. We're not going to have time for the next part. Yeah, I think the minion is starting.